I'm Patty with Amplify Science, and I'll be walking you through this video on daily planning and teaching with remote resources. We'll look at the 8th grade Traits in Reproduction unit in these examples. This video will focus on orienting you to the location of the different at-home resources on the program hub, sharing considerations for weekly planning with Amplify resources and some sample weekly plans, and outlining a process for daily planning using the planning tool. Here's the agenda for this video. First, we'll look at where to find the resources and documents that will help you with planning. If you're already familiar with locating the at-home resources on the newly reorganized program hub, and you want to fast forward to the planning segments, a slide with the chapter photos down the left-hand side, like this slide, will signal the start of section 2 and 3. That's about 7 minutes into the video. In section 2, we'll discuss weekly planning considerations and look at a couple of weekly plans. In section 3, we'll use a planning tool and a 3-step process for planning a daily lesson. As you're watching the video today, please jot down any questions you may have, and my email address will be on the last slide. I'd welcome the opportunity to answer your questions and plan with your team if you'd like. If you're a new Amplify user or just want a quick refresher, you may want to start preparing for the unit by watching the Traits in Reproduction unit orientation video to get a feeling for the flow of the learning throughout the unit. It's on the FCPS Teaching and Learning YouTube channel at curriculum@fayette.kyschools.us.fcps. Amplify Science at Home contains a growing number of resources for teachers and students for remote instruction. New documents like the lesson index have been added since earlier this fall. You may notice that the hub has a new look with some navigational improvements based on teacher feedback. To access the at-home resources and other professional learning resources, click on the global navigation icon in the upper left-hand corner of the screen on the Amplify platform. Then scroll down to the gray Program Hub icon. This will take you to the Program Hub landing page, where you will see remote and hybrid learning resources. As the hub is developed, you'll find additional materials populating the professional learning resources and additional unit materials buckets here as well. Next, you'll see your topic area, since Fayette County's middle school sequence differs from the integrated grade level sequences, and then you'll want to select your unit picture. Notice that you can easily get to the Spanish materials with an English-Spanish toggle on the unit page. Tabs will help you easily navigate to at-home videos and the hands-on investigation videos. You'll also notice a breadcrumb trail in the black band near the top of the screen to help you move quickly back to earlier pages. Scroll down and you'll find the teacher overview and lesson index in the first box. The parent overview and the compilations of slides, student sheets, and packets are also in the top row. Below that, you'll find the lesson materials grouped for each at-home lesson. The remote resources are separated into 2 groups, the at-home units and the at-home videos. The at-home lessons are numbered 1 through 14 for this unit. The at-home videos are numbered to match the platform lessons. You may choose to use both at-home lessons and platform lessons or the at-home videos. The lesson index will help you cross-reference between the two if you decide to use some of both. Here's what's in the lesson index. The first page on the left shows a matchup between the at-home lessons and the platform lessons that correspond. The second page shows student sheet pages and investigation notebook connections. You may choose to integrate resources from the regular Amplify curriculum. Remember that Google Slides and PowerPoints are editable and available this year for every lesson on the lesson brief page. The student investigation notebook pages are on the lesson brief page on the platform, and those can be useful to project or adapt for student work. The at-home units have slides and student sheets that can be assigned for asynchronous work as long as students have tech access. They can also be used for Zoom sessions and shared by the teacher if you'd like. Each at-home lesson is estimated to take about 30 to 45 minutes. In the at-home slides, there are shortened links, tiny URLs, to videos of hands-on demonstrations, digital tool uses, and read-alouds of articles. Students can use these links to watch videos on a device as small as a smartphone, and they're directed to them at the moment in the slide deck when it makes sense for them to watch them. Or students can use their normal student login to access the student screen, Amplify library, or digital tools. At-home videos have been made for each activity in each lesson on the platform. They can be used as models for making your own videos, assigned as they are for students to view, or you can show segments in an online science class. They're also great for makeup work when a student misses an online class. They're estimated to take about the same amount of time as a lesson on the platform. Here you see the correlation between the activities from lesson 3.3 on the left and the video segments on the right. In this lesson, you see that some activities on the platform are split into parts for the video segments. This allows you to use or assign parts of activities if that works best for your purposes. At-home videos have thinking prompts, ask students to pause and write answers, stand up and move around, or go talk with a partner at home. They can be used with just pencil and paper or a science notebook if you choose. Now we're ready to take a look at some weekly planning considerations. As you get ready to plan for a week of science instruction, here's a few things to consider. How much time do you have for your science lessons? How many days are you able to have synchronous class sessions? For those synchronous sessions, do you want to use the at-home slides or adapt the platform slides? Which lessons or parts of lessons would be most effective for synchronous instruction? Well, as you consider which things to do during live instruction, the following activities are recommended for inclusion in those synchronous sessions. Online discussions, demonstrations of how to use digital tools or the SIMs, interactive article read-alouds, and shared writing experiences are good things to do live if possible. Class charts can be co-constructed and hands-on demos can be done with the teacher demonstrating or by showing a video of the hands-on activities as seen in the links on the slides. Here's an example of a weekly plan using the at-home resources, assuming I had about a 30 to 45 minute class period and I planned on meeting in a Zoom session with my students each day. I looked at the key activities in each at-home lesson and decided whether to split the lesson between 1 or 2 days. When I looked at the at-home slides, I felt like lessons 8 and 10 could both be done in one class session, but I decided to separate lessons 9 and 11 into 2 sessions each. I decided to share student sheets in Pear Deck some days so I can see responses more easily and have students write in their notebooks other days to switch it up. I implemented the use of Jamboard Tuesday to get everyone involved in sharing their annotations. Here's a sample of a weekly plan, again with a 30 to 45 minute science block where I would meet live with students 3 days a week. I reconfigured the same lessons for a week where I could meet synchronously with students Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they'd have assignments at home on Tuesday, Thursday. We didn't get lesson 11 started in this model. I highlighted places that I adjusted the original plan for the homework assignments and discussion of the homework assignments. On Tuesday, students will reread the article independently and make annotations, which they'll share in class on Wednesday as we begin lesson 9. Thursday, students will discuss the data collected in the sim with a home partner or by phoning a friend. They'll revisit the investigation question in their notebook and add to their answer. Friday morning, we'll review partner discussions and add to their notebook word wall before beginning lesson 10. You can pause the video to look at the plans in more detail if you want. These two examples just represent a couple of different possible ways to approach these lessons, recognizing that we have a wide variety of instructional delivery options going on around the county. Now we're ready to take a look at a planning tool and a 3-step planning process that can help with daily planning, making the most of the combination of resources that works best for you and your students. Planning with remote resources can be done effectively with these 3 steps. First, look at the at-home resources, units, and videos. Second, take a look at the corresponding platform lesson for supports like differentiation ideas and embedded formative assessments. And third, decide if you want to make use of any of the third-party apps to engage your students. This format, called the planning tool, can be found on your science curriculum page on the FCPS Navigator. There's also a sample page for at-home lesson 9 that's posted in Navigator, so you can see an example of the planning tool that is completed. Step 1, looking at the at-home resources, and Step 2, looking at the platform supports in the lesson brief, are completed in the sections labeled here. On the second page of the document, there are places for notes on how you might choose to use a digital word wall, implement technologies, and other notes. Additionally, reminders for where to find Amplify resources for planning are listed at the end. For example, learning intentions can be written by rewording the investigation question. In Step 1, you'll want to access the Program Hub and open the Teacher Overview document. Read through the Chapter at a Glance section and the lesson summary for the lesson that you're ready to plan. Check out the ideas for synchronous or in-person instruction if you're able to meet with your class remotely that day. As you're filling in the investigation question for that day's lesson, remember it can be found in the Chapter at a Glance section of the overview. You can see the corresponding platform lesson on the individual lesson summaries that follow. The bulleted key activities are listed there as well. Here's a completed lesson plan for at-home lesson 9, which was developed from lesson 3.2. After looking at the students' slides and thinking about what I'd want students to write in their science notebooks, I made some notes to guide instruction in the right-hand column. Success criteria can be developed looking at the 3D statement on the lesson page. I found the 3D statement by clicking the Standards tab on the left-hand side of the lesson brief page. I used this 3D statement to write the success criteria for the lesson. Now I'm going to take a glance at the at-home videos. Since I'm teaching the lesson live, I might want to go back and look at the video for best practices and presentation ideas. If students are absent from the synchronous session, I can assign the videos for today's activities to watch, which would in this case be lesson 3.2, activities 2, 3, and 4. Step 2 involves looking at the platform lesson brief for ideas on presentation, differentiation, and formative assessment. You may want to open the lesson slides to look at presenter notes and decide whether you'd like to use those for your session instead of the at-home slides. Selecting differentiation from the purple menu on the left, I can find suggestions for strategies to help target learners with different needs. If you scan through the activity tabs on the platform lesson, you'll see the hummingbird icon for on-the-fly assessments on some lessons. Lesson 3.1 and 3.3 have specific on-the-fly suggestions. I've listed a few differentiation strategies I want to implement here on the planning tool, and I've thought a bit about what I'd want to formatively assess. I want to be listening in student discussion for understanding of how organisms get their genes as the students are manipulating the sim. If I use breakout rooms for the sim manipulation, I'll drop in and monitor. If we decide to watch the sim manipulated in the video link, I'll pause at certain points and ask students to voice what they have observed happening. To assist ELL students, I'm going to provide some sentence frames for observation and ask a native speaker to summarize what we've found out in the sim if possible. I have also split this lesson between 2 days for additional processing time and attention to the key ideas developed here. For a complete listing of all embedded formative assessments in the unit, remember that you can look on the unit landing page under Teacher References. The third step in planning is to decide if you'd like to make use of any third-party applications in the presentation of the lesson. I thought I might use Jamboard to encourage student participation when sharing annotations in the first part of Lesson 9. I could also decide to put the student sheet for this lesson with the data tables into Pear Deck to be able to see their responses more immediately. I know different teacher teams around the district are using a variety of apps to connect with their students effectively. Just a heads up on when your next unit materials will be ready. The videos for natural selection will be ready January 29th. At-home unit will be posted February 20th with the Spanish at-home unit following on March 6th. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or to set up a time to discuss anything remotely. I hope this has been helpful. And remember that both a blank and a completed sample of the planning tool are located on the Navigator on your 8th grade science curriculum page under the Supporting Resources section. I'm Patty Works, and my email address is pworks@amplify.com. Thank you.